Hey there, Mr. Strings. We're so pleased to clip your wings. Alright. Let's get on with the show, shall we? Alright, today we are reading lore, and I'm going to read about the Puppet Master, the Shadow of the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune! Everybody loves that show, yeah? Alright, the Puppet Master. This entity resembles a large puppet-like humanoid with 4 arms with massive hands and each armed with invisible mind-altering psychic strings. And itself is clad in, a magical high priest garb that from its, from... come on, don't get tongue-tied. Magical garb that's, black and gold, that's, marble, that's, patterned black and gold, and has large demonic bat wings on its back. In the celestial world, he was once part of the system that handled blessings and curses, judgments and mercies, and gave gifts to the people in various ways, including distributing true arts as well as alignments, reality, void, fantasy, and madness, and the 20 elements of all life in the universe. However, the goddess of creation wanted people to decide their own future, their own fates, and to walk their own paths. The Puppet Master didn't understand this. After all, shouldn't all things be fixed, consistent, linear by design, given what it is in its own eyes was purpose, instead of something that it felt was only results in chaos, in defiance, and a lack of structure, in the order that it once forced, in destiny it once controlled. It hated this possibility, this uncertainty, this freedom. Why should inferior beings have such a thing? So it decided to side with the Muse of Darkness and went along with his plan. Because it thought if it couldn't, have the order it thought was necessary, that it would enforce it with the, great evils, and use the corruption, the flaws, the power that destroys and tears apart itself, and weaponize it against all life, and lead it to what he felt was the only fate and destiny that all life deserved: misery, suffering, conflict, death. It puppeted all of them in each reality it came across, and made many dance to its malevolent strings, including one who had become the head of the cult of protagonism, which it and its allies made by distorting, controlling, and leading the gods of creation's faith into a force for evil, to make it into an unrecognizable distortion in an empire that would be like its strings in the lives and wills and minds and hearts of the world's people. It even got a figurehead for it, one who had once been an apprentice priest of protagonism. All it took was a little light to convince the priest to think its children were too close to the power of true arts. Then true independents who were too close to the... Alright, all it took was one little light to convince that priest to think its children who were too close to the power of true arts, and, true independents who were involved in nonsense its subordinates invented and enforced with fire and sword and malevolent mental strings, like witchcraft, demonic influence, and devil worship. And it gave the priest a tool, the testament of correction, a small device it made as a torture device for those who opposed its strings. And it led that priest, who was blinded by his devotion and clouded by his fears and hatred, into using it to trap his kids in a deadly board game. And when his kids won, it led the priest to shoot them anyway with a gun, and made the priest into a demonic figurehead, an ageless head priest, a puppet that would be the leader of protagonism, the cult that would span realities. The puppeteer even gave Father Dole the keys to access the dream space, then to make his own twisted tulpas, using the very power the goddess gave humanity against them to brainwash them, to control and convert, and to punish and judge hearts and minds with delusion and terror and malevolent strings of control. However, the great wizard Gray and Gray's own tulpas drove back the puppeteer's number one puppet and sealed the gateway to prevent it from happening again by creating a conceptual level seal with a book that defies space-time, at least until Illuminate, the leader of Red Moon, would later break the seal. Oh yeah, that's going to be a major thing in the lore, by the way. Yeah, that book. As well as Illuminate basically sealing the book and breaking it. However, the puppeteer himself, having lost the Toppat War, went back in Gray's timeline, was hunted down by Arachne, the Dark Lord, which it and its subordinates manipulated, and did what they could to twist the fate of, had come, and he would be trapped like another fly in her web, and succumb to her venom. Oh, excuse me. Alright, I hope that was, very satisfactory for you. Yeah, the demonic puppeteer that's basically an eldritch abomination that's like a big bad guy angle. very much like the Wheel of Fortune. Very much a reverse of the Wheel of Fortune, because it's, about control and manipulating fates instead of, letting it happen naturally. But the goddess wanted it first. What do you think about that? Anyway, let's go look for somebody to raid right now. I'm sure there's somebody on. Oh wait, I know who's on. Alright, let's go raid Indumati _VT. I believe he's on right now. Alright, I'll be the only one raiding, of course. But that's okay. That's okay, I'm sure people like this. I apologize, my throat is kind of scratchy, so, some of the lines are a little hard for me, so I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Combat raid. Alright, goodbye.